Welcome to the Around the Bases Pop Culture and Sports Podcast with your host,
Charlie Seymour.
And I'm Tim Sternberg, and it's time for another fun week here. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I sound like, I don't know if you know this guy. Back in the day in the New York area, they used to have this guy that sold electronics called Crazy Eddie. His prices were insane, and I kind of sounded a little like that, but that's okay. I'm good, bro.
I feel like I've heard him referenced before in
You
various
have?
things.
Yeah, Google him in the New York area, and yeah, he was like, he was crazy. I mean, the commercials were funny. It was like an electronics chain, basically, like a Circuit City type of thing, but it was local to the New York
Like
tri-state
like a
area.
Vince Vaughn in old school.
Yes, right. Maybe he based that character
Speaker
off of
City.
that. You remember? Oh my goodness. We used to Circus City was like the place to go back in the day. That's where I got all my DVDs and
I feel like
laser
that old
discs.
school has to be a parody on it. Like the color scheme is the same. He's got like the red shirt and the
It's like almost like they couldn't use it for the licensing, like, oh, so let's just change it. Oh man. So I'm good, man. How was your week?
no, same old, same old. How was yours?
Same old, same old. I have to say, how much fun was the last episode with our guys? That was
Oh,
so
that
much
was
fun.
so fun. It was so good to see everybody. We haven't seen him in a while.
I enjoyed that. And I hear now, I saw on Facebook the other day, Cohen is now coming out with a new podcast also. So that's awesome. I love that.
Absolutely. He got a little jump off. He got a little practice last week with us, and now
He
he's
was
ready.
great.
He
He was
was.
great. He
I
could
can't
do
wait
this
to
all
hear
by
it.
himself. Absolutely. My goodness, we have a jam-packed show this week, folks. I mean, we have the Oscars that just finished up a couple of days ago. We have major reality stuff that's happening on the TV, which Charlie and I both love our reality shows. We have a little bit of unboxing. Everyone loves the unboxing, right? And we'll kind of preview maybe next week, talking a little bit about baseball. We're going to have a special guest on next week. One of our We Are Family alumni, Rob, is going to join us next week. So we're really excited about that.
Can't wait to have Rob
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. So yeah, buddy, the Oscars. Well, first of all, I have to say, I'm gonna brag a little bit. We had a little tiny group of people that we did a little Oscar pool, and I was victorious.
You know what's funny is
Victorious.
I totally forgot about that until I want to say 4:30
I'm
p.m.
gonna think that's correct because
And
you
I was
would have
like,
beat my
"Oh
record.
no, I forgot." And I
You're like,
quickly logged in and I didn't you earned it. You won by a sizable amount. I think I finished in second still,
yeah, you
but
did. You did. I was, I am a handicapper, just like kind of like with your sports betting kind of thing that you do. I look at, admittedly, and you know this, I have not seen all the movies, so I'm not necessarily basing it off of all of my knowledge, but I did look at top reviews of expectations of what was going to happen, and I kind of Frankenstein my ballot based on my knowledge in the ether of what's going on with the different movies, and was
what's
able to put
I
together.
had a couple that I was rooting for, but I thought, oh, they're probably not going to actually win it. So I picked other way,
I knew that.
but was pleasantly surprised to not get the point versus see them actually win. That was pretty cool.
The supporting actress, excellent. Like
Did
I was
you
very happy.
did you
I
watch
got
the
that right.
holdovers?
Uh, I have not, but I have seen her in clips, and she was fantastic in that
Yeah, she
movie.
was very, very good.
I'm gonna see it. All right, Charlie, I promise I will see it this week. It is on Peacock, I believe.
Yes, you can
I will
stream that
see
one.
it. Yes, it's on my list. I did start Oppenheimer, and we talked about this. It starts a
You
little
can do that in
slow.
in three pieces, right? Is that what you're doing?
I could, yeah,
Pretty
basically.
long.
Well, it's three
And
hours.
it's not even the longest
No.
best picture nominee, which is crazy.
What was that? What was the longest
Killers of
one?
the Flower Moon was like
That's
3 hours and 25, something like that.
They're gonna kill me on a flower moon with that long. Oh man. I was happy for her though. I thought her acceptance speech was lovely. I thought that she just For me, I don't know about you, but when I'm watching these award shows, sometimes I'll get, from the actor or actress, oh, thank you. I like to thank my blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, I want an award, even though it's the Oscars, and probably they're excited inside. But with her, and there's been past acceptance speeches too, I just felt how meaningful it was for her. And even if I haven't seen the movie, that meant a lot to me as a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And I did pick her. I was hoping that she would win. I was hoping, I thought, in the best actress category, she was deserving. But I had another pick in that category as well that I was hoping for. So, I mean, some of it was expected. I don't think Oppenheimer had the blow away that people thought. What do you think?
It won a good amount, but yeah, but it didn't like take everything. I was just curious at the
Oh
number,
yeah.
so I wanted to pull it up
I
here.
like that you bring up real-time data with Charlie Seamler. I love that.
Oppenheimer Oscar noms. It looks like they had. Here's the complete list winners right here. Okay, I got it.
I could edit those looking. It's okay.
Okay, I hear a full list below. Okay, Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. That's four. They also won original score as five. I feel like they won cinematography as well as six. Film editing seven. So they had seven wins.
That's a decent amount.
That's a nice number.
And film editing, I mean, it is an accomplishment when you're working on a movie that's almost 3 hours long to edit that into a story that makes sense. And from what I heard, and again, I'm not speaking from seeing the movie, but that's a big part of it. So yeah, I
Did
remember.
you, sorry, not to jump
No,
the
no,
other
go
way,
ahead.
but
Go ahead.
you had mentioned earlier you didn't pick, did you pick Lily Gladstone for Best Actress?
I did. I
Yeah,
wanted
so
her
did
to
I.
win. I
And
was sad
then
about
I
that.
that's who I picked as well. But I do like Emma Stone and was happy that she
Love
got her
Emma.
first win. So that's another one where I was
That
fine
was
with her as well.
I was twisted with that a little bit. I really wanted Lily Gladstone. I mean, there's been a lot of history with Native Americans and the Oscars, good and bad. And I think this was really a good thing for her. It was a good thing for Native American people for her to be nominated. I would like to see more of that and more diversity in the future with these nominations and hopefully with wins. Emma Stone was very deserving. Emma Stone has been at this for a while. I just every time I see her, she just lights up the room. I smile. She has this aura about her that you just want, kind of like Julia Roberts did back in the day, where you just want to watch her just because she makes you feel good. And she just,
Yeah.
I don't know, she just lights up the screen. She's wonderful. Yeah, I'm a fan,
Were
definitely.
there any surprises for you or something you wish someone else won, etc.?
Not you. I wasn't really disappointed in anything necessarily. I will say, I, 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 I'm not surprised that Paul Giamatti didn't win. I would have hoped that he would. He's been a favorite of mine for a long time. I think the first movie I saw with him in it was Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie way back when, which actually was surprisingly excellent. And he is
I heard
fantastic.
I heard for this movie he wore a contact lens in his one eye that actually made him blind in one eye.
Blind. I
So he could
heard
only
that
see with
too.
one eye the whole time, which is you really want to get into it. That's
That's
it
method
right there.
acting
Yeah.
101 right there. I love him. Like he just every role, he's kind of like the male Meryl Streep for me. Like Meryl Streep is one of those actors too, where everything she sees, she goes into every character. Boom, she is that character. Edward Norton used to be like that. He's not really made movies, but Edward Norton was another actor like that, where they just become that character. And Paul Giamatti is that for me. And I thought this was a good time for him. The Holdovers, from what I understand, again, I'm going to see it this week, but it's a great movie. But I'm basing it on all the other work that I've seen with Paul in it. And I would say that was a disappointing piece. And of course, Lily Gladstone not winning as well. What about you?
Oh, I was waiting for you to say that you were upset that I'm Just Ken didn't win Best Original Song.
No, I did put him on my ballot. But I
He
love the song.
that was the overwhelming favorite, I thought, at least what people had thought.
But
But I like Billie Eilish, and Barbie still picked up a win there. So
if you're gonna talk about a song that gives you goosebumps, that song, if you think of the Barbie movie, that song immediately comes to mind. I'm just Ken too, but really that Billie Eilish song, and this is her second win for best song at the Oscars, which
yeah,
is amazing.
James Bond.
James Bond, yes. She's fantastic. I love Billie Eilish. Just I love musicians, singers, writers, creators that really bring emotion to what they're doing. And for a movie, if I'm a director of a movie, the one thing I want from a great song is to really drive that emotion in the film. And you talk about a summer popcorn movie like Barbie was. You talk about a summer movie like Barbie was. For that song to just come in and connect the premise of that movie about empowerment, just about what the theme of that movie was, I think that really helped propel that movie into another level that I don't think anybody expected from Barbie. We've had this discussion.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the movie only because it didn't really fit what I expected from a movie, but I
Have you gone back and
understand.
watched it a second time?
I'm going to go back.
I think you should
I
give it a second
I know the
watch.
themes, and I love the themes of the movie. Let's put it that way. But the story itself is lovely. It's a nice story. I'll say that.
I think they were trying to do that though, Like I
Yeah.
think that was its goal, and the fact that it's like bothering you is kind of what it wanted to do.
Ooh, I love the psychology, Charlie.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, wow. Whom? Let me go on my couch and no, but you're right. Yeah. I think it warrants another look. So
Yeah,
I will
and
look
you can stream
by
that one as
myself.
well.
I'll watch it. Yeah.
It is on Max, I think.
Yeah, it's on
Pretty sure
Max.
it's on Max.
Speaking of Max, I took Erica and I went out to the movies last weekend, which is a rare thing for us nowadays. Wonka, man. Holy
You guys saw
crap.
it in theater?
Yeah. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Wasn't that
Is that a
fun?
good movie? Oh my God. I was like, I didn't even know it was a musical, first of all. And I'm like watching it. Timothy Chalamet was fantastic. Like, unbelievable. Like, I was thinking Gene Wilder would be proud of this movie. He wasn't so proud of the Johnny Depp version. I do remember that. He wasn't so great with that. But this movie, this prequel, fantastic. And I wanted to see it again right away, and I know I could stream it too on
Yeah,
HBO Max.
we enjoyed it
Um,
as well.
yeah.
We saw that like Christmas or Christmas Eve, one of
Yeah,
those.
that tells you how long it takes me to see a movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say we saw it a while ago.
Duh,
That's
yeah,
a that
yeah. You saw it in Palm Springs.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That would
Oh
be
man.
one that'd be fun to see in like Dolby or one of those with like the big sound and stuff. And
Yeah. I just found out we had one of those theaters down here.
oh
They're
yeah,
playing.
that's even crazier. Wait, you got to mention that. It
Yeah, so we
like
have a 4DX or something like that. It's like a Regal 4DX. It's basically like, so the seats move, the sound is like totally like immersive. The water is shooting
you can get
at
sprayed
you.
with water if there's water. Yeah.
But I got feedback from a couple of our friends, and they're telling me you're gonna have to adjust your back after seeing that. And I'm a little worried. I don't think Dune 2 is the movie to like start. It needs to be a little
Yeah.
shorter. Speaking of another Timothy Chalamet movie, I
Hey,
do want to see that
maybe you could see Wonka in there. That one,
if I
when
could.
you get sprayed
Smell
by like
chocolate.
candy. Yeah, exactly.
I
That'd
love
be
it.
fun.
Give me the candy. Yeah, that would be fun. So I'm gonna check. I'll do a. what I'll do is I'll actually record a little segment. I'll do a segment, and if you, we're gonna start doing outside segments.
Okay,
You'll do them, and I'll do them. And
and now that you finally saw it, what did you think of Keegan Michael Key in there? Wasn't he hilarious?
oh, he is so good.
Oh my
If you
god,
don't
he's
know,
so funny.
Michael Key plays the police chief or whatever,
Yeah, he's a police
and he's
chief
bought out by the
being
chocolatiers.
bribed by candy.
Yes. And so they keep giving him gifts of candy, and then it gets to the point where they have to like drop it on the car.
And then
So
he can't
much
even fit
candy.
in the car.
I love, I always love Keegan Michael Key. So yeah, it's good. Oh man. So yeah, I mean that's Oscars wrap up. Yeah, so I'm excited. I will have I will give you a pledge. I will see more movies this year. So let's go and kind of transition into reality shows. We're right on with reality TV right now, right? I mean,
And
our
this
show
might be
ended.
one of the ones I'm most excited to talk about.
Go for it.
We got to start with Traitors. So, how great was that second season? Come
Oh
on.
my God. I love that show so
I don't
much.
want to give away too many spoilers because it is pretty new, but I will say the finale of that episode. I mean, I can't remember a show that had a finale that
We
was
were
like that
texting each other
in a
during the
like it
finale.
like you think it has a twist and a turn and then it has another and another and another. That was such a great finale. That was
It's such a show
captivating.
about trust, right? It's about trust. It's also about strategy. I mean, I don't want to give it away. I will
Don't we
well,
just
we
don't use
kind
any
of
names. Just don't use any
yeah,
names.
but to have like so the final three be the final three, and then for all three of them to be faithful, it's okay. And spoiler alert, folks. But for all three of them to be faithful, and then for two of them to, for one of them to say they don't trust, and it was pretty obvious that all three were faithful, and then to go through that voting process, and then finally, if that one person voted the one way the first time, it would have been
Literally a coin
over.
flip. It
And
was
I'm like,
crazy.
oh, if she only picked the other person, oh, I said, if they only picked the other person, they would have split 100 and something, well, a lot of money. Um,
Yeah, I wish. Well, I still don't know if we ever got an answer of what would happen if it's down to the final two and they're both faithful, but they both don't want to. They want to keep voting. What happened? There's just a draw and they call it there. I mean, they'd have to,
I
right?
my it's a good question because I was wondering because Alan basically inferred that this is your final time you're going to be able to vote. So I think that
It
maybe no
ends at
one would
two
have won
regardless.
money. Maybe nobody would have won. I don't know. Or I don't know.
Nah,
Like
they'd probably split it, honestly.
I'm sure it's in the knowing game shows like we do, and reality shows and game shows are basically the same thing. I'm sure it's in their rules somewhere that what exactly happens as a
Hmm.
result of
Yeah.
that situation. We just want to know is like, I wonder for season three if they'd have some has been kind of game show contestants like us on the show. Hey, Traders season three, Charlie and I,
I
you
think
know,
they're gonna
like
continue leaning on the like
reality shows,
Big
yeah.
Brother Survivor,
But
the
I get then we have to
challenge.
get on like Amazing Race or Survivor first, Big
Have you
Brother.
ever watched the UK version?
I was thinking of streaming it. I know it's on Peacock right
I've
now.
seen a number of comments say that if you enjoyed this, to check out the European version because it's all real people. So there's no like
Yeah,
alliances. So it's a lot
I
different
kind of
gameplay.
like that. It kind of
I want to
reminds
check it
me
out.
of The Mole, right? So The Mole is very similar. Although I think, if I was to make a suggestion for season three of The Traders, I don't think the audience should necessarily know who the traders are yet early on. I
I
think
actually think that part of the suspense would I'm full agreement on that.
I think eventually, like maybe like in episode 4 or 5, the hood comes up and we see. But to tell us right away, it's almost it allows not telling us allows us as the audience to play along a little more as if we were faithful
Yeah.
ourselves. You know what I mean?
Maybe the first couple episodes and then after a couple of the night murders are over, it goes back and shows you the in the in the turret the conversations after they happened.
So now I have a question for you. You're put yourself in this picture. You're the casting associate, casting Traitors season 3. What are some of your dream players for that season? Thinking in the reality realm.
Well, I think I'm optimistic that they're going to bring Bananas back because he was the first one voted out.
He
I mean,
really
that's
got,
it's a spoiler,
oof,
but it's not really. It happened so long ago.
yeah.
But he was there for a minute and he would have been great.
House of
So
Villains, he
if
was fantastic, by the way.
it,
Thank you.
yeah, yes. So if they he got robbed on House of Villains, but
He
that's for
did.
another day.
Another spoiler
He
alert.
he got he I mean, yeah, he had going in the first episode, you couldn't even see him play, and you could tell
Mm.
he would have been like another guy that I
I
like from
love
the
Johnny
challenge,
Bananas.
CT
Love,
did
yeah.
some beast things in the
Those challenge
challenges.
players are a
He
real
put
deal.
he put the whole squad on his back on a couple of those, and that's how Bananas would be too. So I would like to see him get to play a little more.
What about Bananas' buddy on the challenge?
Which
I forgot
one?
his name. Oh, the one that he's always going head to head with.
You know who I would like to see from the
Who?
challenges? I'd like to see
I'm gonna Google this.
Devin or Tori.
Devin or Tori would be good, I think. Definitely.
I don't know if they could put them together because then they'd be have such a
Tori's a
big target on them.
badass. Oh
Yeah,
my
they
God.
both are.
Yeah.
And they're both very smart, so I think that'd be fun to see them play.
Yeah.
After a while, and now that we've started a little bit of the Deal or No Deal Island, I'd also like to see, even though he's been on everything, I'd love to see Boston Rob play Traders too.
Really, right?
He I don't know how he makes it as long as he does. People should He's so good, people really should just vote him out right away. And the
How
fact that
is
he's
it?
able to keep staying in is a testament to him.
And we're going to talk about Deal or No Deal Island in 1 second, but I just want to say Wes Bergman is the guy I was thinking of
Wes,
from
yeah, okay.
Challenge.
Yep.
Also, if I was to pick, I love to see Taylor from Big Brother kind of
Wes
be
is
on
going to
it.
be on House of Villains next season.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I heard that. Yeah. I would love to see him on season 3 of the Traitors also. Yeah, he's great. What about Taylor from Big Brother?
Yeah, I could see her being a player on there. Definitely.
That would be interesting, I
I
think.
feel like the better they lean into, semi recent popular players of those shows, the more audience they'll continue to grow.
Just
They
please
had to
not
have
the
done well. I mean, that season two, I thought it was very good. I thought and even having rewatched season one within season two, because we had never seen the first one, season one finale was phenomenal. But I told you after seeing the season two one, I thought that it was even better. And I didn't know if you would believe me ahead of time.
I agree with you now
But
that I've
now
seen
you
it.
saw it, right? I mean, that was
Fantastic.
just
Although Suri kicked ass in season 1,
yeah.
there's no doubt about it.
Do you
She was
think they'll bring
fantastic.
back, other than Kate, who was a re-entry to season two? Do you think they'll bring back people that played enough, or
I don't know if there's necessary. I don't know if there's necessarily anybody I would like to see. I would love to see Claudia from Deal or No Deal Island on season 3 of the Traders. I think that would be interesting. Since it's NBC Peacock, that might be a possibility.
yeah,
I don't want to see Josh from Big Brother, who
yeah,
was
no,
on the
thank you.
challenge too. I just can't. He's kind of irritating to me. I just don't. I didn't like
Yeah,
him on Big Brother. I don't like
but
him
they
on the
do
other
always like to
shows.
have a
I
villain.
like to have the villain, but I think there's better villains that are not so. I don't know.
Another
Uh,
person from the challenge who I think would be good on Traders, who just dominated the last season of the challenge. She did extremely well. Would be Nerys. I
oh
don't know
yeah, Nerys would be
if
good. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Um, I also think it would be interesting if they kind of put a host on or something, like maybe a Julie Chen or somebody. That would be interesting.
yeah.
That would be kind of
Jeff
a
Probst.
dynamic. Jeff Probst. I could see that. Yeah, definitely. So speaking of NBC and reality shows, Deal or No Deal Island, we mentioned it briefly. How is it that they're not, we talked about this. How is it that they're not voting off getting rid of Boston Rob? Like
There,
what?
the preview for the future episodes did look like they're starting to realize they need to do that, but they've had two chances already that they've passed on. So
What like and when she refused to give him the case, I get it. Listen, but in that moment in time, like when she refused to, like she wanted almost to take Boston Rob's case. You got to play the game. Like
I
I
know. It
wouldn't
was her
necessarily put
call.
myself out there. And for Claudia to offer herself, I was like, oh no. And I love Claudia Jordan. I used to back in the day when Deal or No Deal was on, my friend had a game show website where he used to interview people and I interviewed her. So she's really cool, down to earth person. I was really rooting for her. Yeah, oof, yeah. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert, by the
that was tough.
way.
And I don't know if you remember my commentary from the first two episodes. I said it could easily be 60 minutes and not 90. And the most recent one went down
Was
to
an
60
hour.
and it was
Thank
perfect.
you.
It was
Yeah,
so
it's
much
half
better.
hour gameplay, half hour, although I don't think even a half
They
hour
don't,
of Deal or
yeah,
No Deal.
the first one they had like half an hour for the briefcases at the end. Like that can be so much faster. And then they finally sped it up this most recent one, which is how it should be.
Yeah, it was.
They don't need to draw out opening 30
I
briefcases
think
every
Joe is a
time.
great host. I think he does a
Yeah,
really
he
great
did. Yeah,
job.
he's great.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I like the show. I mean, it's what reality shows, game shows are meant just to be entertaining, and I hope there's a season two of We Are Family.
I
Oh,
hope they don't knock out Boston Rob too quick because
he's entertaining.
I don't know if I'd stick to the end if he's gone soon.
So yeah, I think Kim is playing her hand a little too open, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out for her. Speaking of Boston Rob, let's talk about Survivor.
Yes.
What? What is going on? First of all, dude, these episodes do not need to be so long. Like, why am I fast? Like, I think you're doing a disservice to the social aspect of the game by extending the episodes because people are going to fast forward them and they may lose some gems in the process because you decided to over edit the episodes. Am I right?
You know, I don't have as much of a problem with the Survivor at 90 as I did Deal or No Deal Island, simply because the Deal or No Deal just seemed like absolutely like dead. No, like I see what you know, I'd be fine with it either way, honestly, as for Survivor. This season's been kind of interesting in the fact that um you had the a couple quote unquote early blindsides who are although the first week I don't understand how he could even think that he was safe. So I don't really consider
Can we
that
talk about
he was blindsided.
Zelensky? Come
Yeah.
on, Zelensky. My God. What?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, like, seriously?
That
We
tribal
both.
council was tough.
Now, I'm going to put this in perspective of us for a minute, Charlie. No, we didn't go on Survivor or anything, but we went through a very similar casting process for a TV show. You go through this casting process for a TV show. You don't know what the show, like, you don't have a strategy or you don't have a thought in your mind. You just go in and just kind of like, what? Like, there's no, am I right? Like, and then,
He really put his foot in his mouth in tribal. I mean, he kept saying
yeah.
things and then they'd be like, well, except for this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, oh, maybe you should talk less.
Let's talk about the initial challenge, even. He couldn't even get himself together. Like,
Yep. There was, I mean, there was like 2.5 to 2.75 hours still on the timer when he wanted to quit. I will say it did seem like a rather impossible task because I was not expecting there to be that many holes in the devices they were carrying the water with because you watch that. I mean, it was like water was dripping out as they walk, and it was a long obstacle they had to carry those. So one of the times I saw him fill it up like over the top, and when he got to the end, it was such a little amount of water. It was literally like I laughed out loud. Like it was unintentionally funny.
so those are always the best, right? When it's
Yeah.
unintentional, like you're like, like just
Like
totally like,
he literally filled that thing. You could see it at the top and it was gone by the time he finished walking the course.
didn't he basically set himself up as the quitter, basically?
Yeah.
Like he's just, I'm not gonna ever do anything. And it's funny and tribal how he tried to kind of weasel out of that, and they're like, well, you did this. you didn't do this, you stopped this. And even at the, when he went on the journey, he's like, oh, I give up. I'm not.
Yeah. And they're like, they're on the other tribes. You don't owe them anything. And they're right.
Dude, like, so let me, I don't know. It must take at least a half hour or 45 minutes for that boat to get back to camp from wherever they were. You don't think in that 45 minutes you're not crafting a story that makes you look a little better in hopes that by the time the merge happens, if you're lucky enough to make the merge, you somehow survive and people don't talk to each other, but at least it provides you some time? Like,
Yeah.
what are you thinking? I would have totally like came up with this whole fakakta thing in my head. It's like, oh, you know what happened was they only gave two people
Or
the
you wouldn't have played it
opportunity.
that poorly initially and put
That
yourself in
too.
that spot.
But I'm saying if you
Yeah,
get to the point,
totally.
but it's a social game like that. You're supposed to like come up with things and listen. It's just like Big Brother. Lying is part of it. If you can't lie, don't go on the show. Like
Yeah.
it's part of it. And if you have a problem with it, there's I can't remember how many players really won without lying. You have to. There has to be a little bit of that in the show. It's a game show. That's what you're supposed to do.
And and it doesn't even have to be lying. It can be withholding of information, like keeping something to yourself or knowing something and not saying something. Like there's lots of different ways around that too. You just have to be adaptable.
So, I have to address this. I have to address your namesake, Charlie.
My
Your namesake, Charlie, the T Swift fan. If you don't know, if
yeah,
you're not watching, he's a big Taylor Swift fan. Him and Ben had this thing where they were
that
going
was
back and forth.
incredible.
What's so good?
That was what Tim's mentioning is they literally named every single song on every album and they went one album at a time and they went back and forth. Like I would say a song, Tim song, me, Tim, me, Tim. And it was like in the hundreds until the one guy finally won. I mean, it was
Ben,
crazy.
and Ben was like, I don't like these other Metallica albums, or they're subpar, so I'm not naming them anymore. And he was like, you win. And the Taylor and Charlie won. But yeah, Ben and Charlie are the musicians of the island. And in the previews, Jeff Probst kind of hinted that it's kind of a musical season, so I can kind of see where that's going, which makes me think that Charlie and Ben get pretty far in the game.
Interesting. I did not pick up on that. That's a nice
Yeah, in
detective
one
work
of the
there.
pre-interviews, he said that it's a musical kind of season. I'm thinking Charlie and Ben are going to be in the final five.
Interesting.
Hmm. And I think they're playing a great social game. So I could
And
see
the
that.
and after even after the couple eliminations, the tribes are so well balanced. That last challenge, all three teams were that was one of the
Yeah.
closest ones I remember in a while between all three tribes.
Oh man. So yeah, that's anything else like outstanding in Survivor that you want to talk about? I'm sure, we'll have another episode this week.
No, I think we hit on pretty much
I think
everything
so
that
too.
we wanted to hit on.
I think
But
so
yeah,
too.
and if you haven't had the opportunity to watch Traitors, you don't even have to watch them in order. The seasons you can do two before if you'd like, but check it out. It's so good.
I think Dan messed up his reputation a little bit. He had a really big reputation from Big Brother that
Yeah.
maybe he wasn't as big as he like going back to Traitors real quick. Let's talk about Dan for a second. But why is he playing the show so quiet? Like, what is wrong?
Yeah.
You draw attention to yourself one of two ways. Am I right? Either being loud and rambunctious, which I could be, or quiet and reserved. He was way too quiet and reserved.
And the thing about that too was they told he was aware of it pretty early and continued to do it. Like once he was outed in that sense, he had a chance to turn it around and he just
Pe-
didn't.
People were literally telling him, "Come on, man,
They're
what
like,
are you
name,
doing?
just say somebody, play
Say
the game.
something,
And they
talk."
knew. Yeah, he
Yeah,
misplayed that pretty hard, I thought.
and then when he went after Phaedra, oh my God. I mean, I loved, by the way, I love Phaedra. Like,
She may very well could have won that game if it wasn't for
yeah,
Dan.
if he didn't out her, she was playing a perfect game like Suri did the first season. I thought, I have low expectations of the non-gamers, but she was fantastic. Like in Real
That I thought
Housewives.
was one of the more interesting things of the whole reunion was the reality game show gameplay shows like the Survivor, the Big Brothers, the Challenge versus the reality show, the Bravo, Real Housewives,
Bachelor.
Bachelor,
Peter
the
played a great game too, and
Peter
look at
Peter
that.
did.
He
Peter
was
did play a great
fantastic.
game. He
What
he
did
knew
what
what
they
was
call it?
up.
Peter's people?
No, the Peter Pals.
Peter Pals. That's
The Peter
right.
Pals.
Peter, I would like to see Peter on another season. I thought he was fantastic.
He was they called him a bloodhound too. And then he even
Dude was
mentioned
good.
something. He mentioned something in the reunion that I thought was interesting that I didn't even remember. But the reason why he got on to Phaedra from Parvati was because something was said to him and they used the same vernacular as when it was from the
Oh,
turret and he put two and two together. I thought that was incredible.
guy must have a huge IQ. I mean, how do you to be able to put that together like that and the
Yeah.
trap that he set for the dummies that were
That was
actually
on Dan. The
Dan,
fact that you don't vote for someone
why are you
like
going
it
after
was
Bergie? What are you doing?
there was zero upside to that gamble there. Just get rid of Bergie
Why?
the next time.
Right.
Vote
Why?
someone out who you knew did not have the shield.
Which Phaedra ended up getting rid of Bergie anyway. I mean, Burgalicious as she called him, but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, yeah, it was a good cast. I think it was a great, good casting overall, except maybe for Dan. I would have been more interested to see how he played it as a faithful and maybe had Peter as a traitor. I think Peter would have probably won the game with Phaedra if they were traitors. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the other thing too. I think if they flipped Kate and Peter, if Peter got the join or die invitation instead of the join or decline, I think he would have accepted.
There's so many things that could happen. Like that's a
Yeah,
great thing about the show. You can literally like build your own set. Do we have an unboxing? I know we do.
we do. We do.
Oh, oh, I'm nervous though. All right, so
It's a baseball
folks,
player. You shouldn't
we're
be
in the
that
middle
nervous
of
tonight.
we're in the middle of spring training. We're going to talk more baseball in the coming weeks. But once it gets into grooves, so to speak. But Charlie does have one of his awesome collectibles that he's going to share with us. And I hear from fans of our show that this is one of their favorite segments. So,
All right. So I have a baseball player here.
okay, that
This
works. That narrows it down.
this player is one of my all-time favorites. Who and you are aware of this. You may or may not have gotten me a birthday gift, and he may have been a part of it. He is a World Series champion. He also attended the same university that I attended, Indiana University. He took Indiana to their first college World Series in like 20 or 30 years. He is a massive, massive power hitter. Lots of homers, lots of
Mm,
bombs,
I have it
lot,
narrowed down to about three.
lots of his last name comboed with the word bomb, blank bombs. He hit a home run so far at Wrigley, it landed on top of the scoreboard, and they put a case around the ball and left it there
Huh.
for a while.
Is this player, can I ask a question?
Of course, you can.
Is this player currently a Philly?
This player is currently a Philly.
Kyle Schwarber.
Gets it on the first guess.
Boom!
Here we have a
Love it.
here we
Oh,
have another
Schwarbs. I
mini
love Schwarbs.
Schwarbs.
My buddy,
And
shout out to my buddy AJ, who's a big Phillies fan.
even though he left the Cubs, I'm always going to be supporting
Well,
Schwarber.
me too.
So
Well, I mean, you know how I follow that 15, the 16 team. 15 team is my Mets. That's another story. But the 15 team, 16, I said it again. The 16 team, rooting for them. Yeah, Schwarbs is a beast. I mean, I knew it was Schwarbs.
yeah, I had a feeling you knew it pretty quickly.
Oh, that was easy. That was good. Thank you
I
for
know.
thank you for throwing me a bone, bro. I
I
appreciate
you
it.
got lucky. I can't control which one comes next in the order. Maybe the next one will be a younger MLB star,
Maybe those are
and
harder for me.
those are a little harder, but I think you'll get it. We'll see.
As soon as you said you did World Series team, I'm like, okay, well, it's not the Cub, Ernie Banks, so I know that. And that was part of your birthday, your gift. And I'm like, okay, who else? Who else? All right, we got Bryant, we got Rizzo, we got Schwarber. Ian Happ wasn't on the team yet. He was still
Correct. He was in
prior.
Iowa.
So yeah, it had to be Schwartz. So there we go. Um, by the way, speaking of the Phillies, and I know we don't want to get too deep into sports, but a lot of people are picking them this year to go all the way.
They're pretty good. They're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
I know they're a division rival of yours, but
Uh-huh.
I just don't see anybody knocking off Atlanta in that division. I think you're both playing for wild card spots, but we'll see.
You know how I feel about the Braves, bro.
They're
I feel about the Braves like you do about those Redbirds.
they're your number one least liked opposing team.
100%. 100%. I actually
Where do
tolerate
the
the Phillies
Phillies?
because
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do
I
the
lived
Phillies
in
fall in that
Central
pecking order?
Jersey, so I kind of watched the Phillies. My fellow Mets fans would never want me to say that I don't disvalue them. Most Met fans cannot stand the Phillies, but I think if there's a bigger rival for us, it's always been the Braves. But the Phillies are up there. The Phillies haven't been much of a rival in recent years. The Mets haven't been much of a rival in recent years. But yeah, I mean, I dislike the Braves more than any other team. Actually, up there is the Braves and the Astros, I will say. Sorry if I'm alienating people, but
That's okay.
and then now, so let's talk about the hypocrisy real quick, and then we'll kind of end it. But Yankee fans are like, "Well, Bregman's contract is coming up, and we could sign Bregman," and I'm like, "Dude, like 4 years ago, you were like, they're cheaters," and all of a sudden, the same thing happened with the other players that came up. It's like, what are you doing? It's like the Mets with
Carlos Beltran.
Beltran,
Is that who you're talking
like.
about?
Yeah, and thank you. Carlos Beltran is a Met up there with was a Met up there with Wright and really beloved by the Mets. And then he went to Houston. And
Yeah,
so
he was a big ringleader on it, supposedly.
yeah,
The
and
cheating,
Steve
that is.
Cohen, against my better wish, hired him as a bench coach. And now, I mean, the talk is like, I believe in second chances, but come on, at least I don't know. I don't know. It's just a hypocrisy. It just bothers me. The Yankee fans saying, "Oh, Bregman, Bregman, Bregman." Like either you're
Yeah,
against it or
I'm
you're
sure
not.
you probably hear a lot of that being knowing many New York people. So I'm sure you get to hear all that.
Yeah, I have family members that are Yankee fans, unfortunately.
Not a great start for the Yankees, injury wise.
Sorry, am I laughing? Garrett Cole?
Sounds like he's not going to be ready for opening day. Judge
Oh
getting an
wow,
MRI.
like
Interesting.
that meme that you share with me.
That's maybe my number one all time favorite from The Last Dance. He's shrugging like the security guard who plays quarters with Jordan, and then the SNL parody of that gets me every time. Oh my gosh.
I don't listen. I don't wish harm on anybody, but um I'm not upset. And listen, the Mets and the Yankees are not rivals at all, except if we both make it to the World Series. But historically speaking, Mets fans typically, just like White Sox and Cubs fans, it's like oil and water. We do not mix. Um, would you agree that's kind of the same thing with your crosstown?
Yeah, but to your point earlier, Cubs fans really just dislike the Cardinals more.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
we
the real
dislike the
rivalry.
Braves more than the Yankees. That don't. I mean, the Braves and the Phillies more than the Yankees. But
I'll still go to a bunch of Sox games every year just to go see baseball.
you talk about rivalries. My second favorite team is the Miami Marlins, and they're in the same division as the Mets. So that's odd.
There you go.
That's odd.
That's why you got to have an AL team.
And people ask why the Orioles. Baltimore Orioles are my AL team. Always, but since Cal Ripken, we've talked about this. Rosie loves Cal Ripken. I love Cal Ripken. It's always been my team. Can't win the
Orioles and the
roses.
Rays.
The Rays are your team. I love the Rays too. Living in
See, the funny
Florida.
thing is for me, it's the AL, so it's okay. But the three teams I like the most in the AL, now that my good buddy's no longer with a team, I would always root for his team plus another. But now that he's no longer working for a
I'm gonna
team,
guess. Can I guess?
go ahead. You already
Blue
know it.
Jays.
Yeah,
Blue
I was gonna
Jays.
say
Yeah.
all three of mine are in the same division too, which is perfect because then I can root against the Yankees and the Red Sox pretty much all the time.
I don't like the Red Sox either. 1986 World Series. So yeah, no. It's yeah. Well, we won the World Series, but still like a rivalry. Thank you, Bud Buckner. That's all I have to say with that. But yeah, the Blue Jays I get, and look, Vladdy Jr., one of my favorite players in baseball right now. Yeah, I get it. And plus, our Madeline, our co-contestant, Davis Schneider, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, how cool is this? So John Morosi just wrote a story about him. I want to say it was Monday or Sunday, a couple days ago. And the day he wrote the story, Davis homered in the spring training game.
I
So
love
that
it.
was cool.
I love it. And I just started following him because of We Are Family and Madeline, and the guy's pretty much a beast. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
pretty strong guy.
He's going to make his very first opening day roster this season because he was called up in the
So
summer last
awesome.
year.
That's
Very,
I'm
very
so
cool.
happy for him. I shared, I sent a message to Madeline. I'm like, that's awesome or something. She's like, don't worry, I'm going to be posting every day. Hey, that's what a sister should do. A proud
Absolutely.
sister. If my sibling was in the MLB, I would throw every other fandom away and whatever team they were on.
I am definitely going to make it to a Blue Jays White Sox game this year.
Ooh, that's
100%.
fun. That's fun. That's fun. Oh man. So yeah, another great episode, buddy.
Yeah, it was great to see you again.
Always. What I love about this, other than us doing the podcast, is it's a good time for us to kind of catch up, and it's good.
Yeah, it makes us miss the Atlanta days.
I do. I miss the pizza, the late night pizza that we got that was enormously expensive, and
At like 3 in the morning because we got back at 2.
That was a memory that I will never ever forget. That was just, yeah, it was very special. I don't care how much money we won or lost. It was just a very special experience. But yeah, it's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, good to see you too. Looking forward to next week. You said you're gonna have watched Holdovers, right? Should I hold you to that? See what I did there?
Yeah. Bum. That's a good pun. I liked it. All right, I'm Tim Sternberg with my buddy
Charlie Seymour.
And until next week, catch you on the other side.